What's going on, guys? This is Real Deal Fantasy HQ with your boy LQ, back again for another great episode. Today's episode is Devante Parker, people, for the Miami Dolphins. Now, today we're going to be talking about his 2020 fantasy football outlook and what's next for the guy. Is he going to keep the ball rolling, and is Preston Williams actually a threat? So, I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get right into the episode. So today we got Devante Parker. Now, Devante Parker finished 16 games. Let me start there. Thank you, God. We knew he can play. We knew he could ball out. We knew Devante Parker had the talent. We knew he had the hands. He had the speed. He had the breakaways. He had everything that you would want in a wide receiver. Now, I'm happy that Devante Parker finally finished the 2020 season healthy, and he finally finished the season where we can actually see his true talent. But let's not go reaching for him come draft day, people. So first off, I want to start with his ADP. I think the 7th round is fair for Devante Parker for where he should be going. Now, he'll be your solid wide receiver 3. He'll be your flex play. Now, we got to also worry about who's going to be playing quarterback back there. But honestly, it didn't even matter last season between Fitz and Rosen because Devante Parker was eating regardless. So I think the Dolphins will go to the draft and obviously get a top prospect, a top quarterback prospect, I should say, and hopefully they can figure out what's going on, who's going to be the starting quarterback for the first couple of games of the season, and then eventually they'll probably throw the rookie in, unless in training camp he shows out and puts Rosen and Fitz to bed. So it's kind of like, that'll be a good thing. We'll get a better upgrade because Fitz was the bottom, or should I say Rosen was the bottom. But at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because Devante Parker still finished 11th in PPR formats. So I do like the chances, the ceiling for Devante Parker to keep the ball rolling going to the next season. Now, another elephant in the room that needs to be addressed, Preston Williams. So honestly, before Preston Williams got hurt, Preston was literally the wide receiver 1 for the Dolphins. Preston had 60 targets, 32 receptions. He had 3 touchdowns and finished the season with 90 fantasy points, people, and that's only because he got hurt. So with him being hurt with the ACL, that took him out of the game, that took him out of talks, and that's where we really saw Devante Parker pull away and move up in the rankings week to week to be that wide receiver 2 that was solid and consistent some games, and he went from seeing like 6 to 7 targets a game to where he saw the next 4 weeks after Preston was hurt, saw 10 targets straight, 10, 10, 10, 11, 10. So he averaged 10 targets a game after that. So with Devante Parker going into this next season with a healthy Preston Williams, I wouldn't do any reaching for him come draft day because I think the 7th round is where I'm comfortable taking him at. I don't think any higher. If he goes off the board any higher, then hey, that's that guy's headache. That's that guy taking the chance. You got to risk it for the biscuit or whatever the case may be. But don't go reaching for Devante Parker only for the simple fact we have a healthy, maybe healthy, I would just say, Preston Williams. He may take a step back, but he is a very physical wide receiver, people. Great hands, great breakaway speed. He gets off the line quick, people. So Preston Williams should not be slept on, people. Now, Preston I have going into like the 10th or 11th round because people are forgetting that he was basically the most physical receiver on that team there. So with him outshining Devante Parker the first 9 weeks, that should just let you know that you should be pumping the brakes on Parker. Don't go reaching for him. The 7th round, like I said, is okay to go grab him, be comfortable as your flex, as your wide receiver 3. But if he goes off the board earlier than that because people are riding the wave of what he did at the end of the season while Preston was out on injury, then let that happen. Let that, be their headache, like I said. So don't forget that Preston Williams was there, that he was the more physical, more liable wide receiver there. Not knocking anything against Parker, but Preston Williams was there. That presence there alone scares me a little bit going any higher than the 7th round for Devante Parker. So by then in the 7th round, you already have your stud wide receivers. Shouldn't have to worry about running backs. Running backs are going off the board like that. So hopefully you go get your running backs, your studs on your team to address that. And then you got the long list wide receivers that are deep this year. So again, if Parker goes on in the 7th round, don't worry. Don't be all pissed off and all crazy about it. There's plenty of other value there. Parker's going where the Julian Edelman is. You got Terry McLaurin still there. The Mike Williams is. Etc. You got a lot of wide receivers back down there in the 7th round, so he wouldn't be the guy that you would have to go reach just because you like him. But like you said, I like people that say oh, I like this guy, so I'm gonna go get him. But don't go reaching for Devante Parker. Even though I'm very impressed with what he's put in the game logs. I'm literally happy and I had high hopes for him going into the 2019 season, but it was also only based on him being healthy. So if he can stay healthy again, if we can keep this ball rolling, he's going to be making some noise. He's going to be crawling up draft boards come draft day. But again, don't go reaching, people. You got to understand Preston Williams was there. He is a threat. I am a little bit worried looking at these stats, that doing some research, that, whoa, Preston Williams comes back healthy, might have some trouble with Parker. I mean, Parker will still obviously be the wide receiver one in mainstream media and all this stuff, but Preston Williams might break away because I've seen it coming the first 9 weeks. Like 60 targets, he was looking like the go-to guy. But again, wide receiver twos may see more targets because Devante Parker's double teamed, because I've seen that in the New England game where Devante Parker had 7 targets and had 0 catches, people. So he was double teams covered by Stephon Gilmore, and then obviously your wide receiver 2 eats. But being that we've seen a whole 9 weeks of film on Preston Williams, how physical he is, how he could jump off the line, how he is going up and grabbing the ball over 2 DBs. So it's like we see the film, coaches see the film, teams see the film. So they're like, all right, maybe we should just shift some things over because Preston Williams will go off if you give him the chance to. I do like these wide receivers going into this draft, but I don't want to reach on either one of them. So again, Devante Parker, 7th round. I got Preston Williams being forgotten where he should be close to the 8th and 9th round behind Devante Parker. But I see him dropping to the 10th or 11th round, which is great value there. That's a complete steal, people. You're getting basically a wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1, you know, on that Dolphins team to basically be exploding week to week to be a consistent flex play. So I definitely like that late round, you know, quiet, don't talk about Williams type ordeal there. But I definitely want you to understand drafting Parker. You don't want to reach on Parker. So I do like that he had career best. I do like he finished 11th in PPR, but I only think that only happened because Preston Williams got hurt. So if Williams didn't get hurt, I don't think we'll be seeing Parker in that, you know, top 15 or even that close to the top 10, finishing 11th in PPR leagues. There's no way he's getting 10 targets, 10 targets, 10 targets 4 weeks in a row. So I do want you guys to understand and just, you know, just basically go into the draft careful, draft with caution, don't go reaching or whatever, because we still have to keep in mind in the back of our mind that Parker has some injury history. So that's also another thing there. So Preston Williams, I do think is a threat. So draft with caution. So that was today's episode. Again, draft with caution with Parker and Williams. No reaching, people. Let's keep it classy. Let's draft at their acceptable ADPs. There's no reason to go reaching on Parker. There's no reason to go reaching on Williams, but I do like their ceilings. I like both their ceilings, man. They mirrored each other through 9 weeks of the season before Williams got hurt, and then that's exactly when Devante Parker blew up. But again, with that information, that knowledge going to draft day, I'm confident in you guys will draft accordingly and bring home the gold, people. So that was today's episode. I'll see you guys next week for another great episode of Real Deal Fantasy HQ with your boy LQ. Peace.